What's good, everybody? Welcome to the End Goal Podcast. Today is another guest special. He is someone that I met once again through the dance community. He's also a part of my support system here in Dallas when it comes to also non-dance things. He is someone previously that I looked up to as a mentor and still do, but originally I met him through dance. Like he was like a dance mentor. And then it turned into just being a very good friendship. I definitely admire this man. He is great dancer, great videographer, great husband, great father. He just does everything right. So that's what I aspire to be
Try.
like. And I just want to introduce you guys to my boy MJG.
What's up, y'all?
Um,
For those
and thank you for
who
being
don't know,
here.
yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for having me. It's I've been watching your podcasts and clips and ideas, and
Hmm.
you're growing a lot,
Yeah,
trying new things,
I
elevating,
know.
and that's what it's about. Just going
It
at it,
is. It
going
is.
after it.
So I know a lot more about your dance background,
Hmm.
but I want to focus on kind of what you do outside of dance.
Hmm. Yeah.
So if you can, for people who are listening and or watching, if you can kind of walk people through, what do you do outside of dance?
Hmm.
I know you from videography, but I don't know everything.
Right, right, right. Oh man, I mean, I guess it starts when I was younger. I was dance was always there for fun, but
Hmm.
um, of course, learning how to do things, make things is always. I guess that's plays a part of the dance and the film aspect because I always was building things or fixing things or making things with my brothers. So I enjoy that, like building things and making things, and nothing like. I mean, I build we built houses,
Yeah.
in construction for like almost 15 years, but we like the always make little gifts and stuff for
Yeah.
families and for my nephews or nieces or something, or for my son Moses, make stuff for him. So
Yeah.
I enjoy doing stuff like that. Of course, film is there up top with dance and everything else. But yeah, I mean, besides that, we share a lot when it comes to like exercise,
Hmm.
fitness stuff, like
Big time.
ideas, creativity, just dabbling into things that help us grow,
Hmm. Yeah.
mentally, physically, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I think that's why we're here today, just talking about it together.
100%. I
Yeah.
mean, you're one of the few people when I was going through my calisthenics phase
Mhm.
that really was into combining body weight
Mhm.
movement with dance, which is why I think I gravitated towards you the most
Mm.
because you were also out there doing the fingertip push-ups and the
Mm.
push-ups while trying to wave and trying to like
Mm.
worm and trying to snake and
Mm.
the tiptoe shuffles and all those things. It's
Oh.
just it was very interesting and it was like a very very like-minded situation there where I was like, okay, this guy's doing the exact same thing I
Mhm.
do or that I'm
Mhm.
trying to do. So,
Mhm. Definitely.
um, so I wanted to ask you,
Mhm.
start this off. This podcast is mainly about goals, right? We're
Mm.
talking about I usually talk about my goals, some experiences that we've had that have been some good, some bad, whatever
Mm.
it is. I wanted to ask you, one, how have your goals changed kind of over time?
Mhm.
From when like teens, 20s, where you are
Mm.
now to and kind of like what is your goal now? Like personally for
Mm.
your own personal business or your own personal craft, like what is your goal now?
Mm. Definitely. And a good part of talking about this too is bringing up the aspect of what we're doing now is like communion,
Mhm.
community, and
Mhm.
that plays a big part in my goals because I feel like if we don't have those around us who are striving or pushing, it's
Mhm.
hard to kind of wonder like, okay, what can I do? What should I do next?
Yeah.
So I think well, I know for sure when I started dancing seriously, like 2007, started training and popping and I thought I understood things. I understood it. I thought I had it. I thought I kind of got the feeling of what popping is, right? And then
Mhm.
when I started getting around the scene in 2010, so I had like 3 years of being by myself,
Yeah.
right? YouTube or hitting up teachers and practicing, and I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing. But until I got around the Dallas community, then I was like,
Mhm.
oh shoot, like I really don't know what I'm doing. So
Mhm.
it took people who were better than me or being around people who are doing certain things differently to open my eyes to my goals and to what I should do or what I want to
Mhm.
do. So and that just kept going each since then. I'm always just being around the community, seeing what you're doing, other
Yeah.
people are doing. I'm like, oh man, that's awesome what they're doing. Like I need to read more,
Right.
or I
Yeah.
need to touch on this more. I need to because it's not more of like a competition for me.
Mhm.
It shouldn't be a competition for anyone
For
to kind
sure.
of want to grow and to be inspired and motivated. It should be just, wow, that was awesome. Like I didn't know, I didn't see things that way, but
Mhm.
now I need to.
Mhm.
touch on this because I feel like it'll impact me just like
Mhm.
it impacted someone, the person I
100%.
looked at
Yeah.
or
No.
or learned from. So
Mhm. Like, every time I see guys post dance clips, like, I don't dance that much anymore, so it's like, well, I'm motivated to go dance, just
mhm.
do a round at home or
Right,
whatever it
right.
is, right? That's kinda how it goes, like, I'm not gonna go session 5 times a week or
Mhm,
go and battle and stuff, but
mhm,
just seeing people dancing. I saw Canvas's post today, and I was
mhm.
like, "Guess I'm dancing
Yep,
today,
yep.
folks." Like, somehow, some way, I'm dancing today.
It's crazy. That's exactly how it is. And that's how I feel I'm big on that,
Mhm.
learning, always being around those, who are in the same space,
Right.
creative-wise, building, it mentally, physically, and their art and their journey, and I feel like if I'm not around that, it'll be tough to always know, like, okay, what's the next step for me?
Mhm.
Because I have to gauge how I
Yeah.
am in a sense, where I'm
Mhm.
at. Again, not in a competition aspect, and more of a just like because everyone's so different. Everyone has crazy, different, unique talents and abilities,
Mhm.
and if we always focus on ourselves and think we're there and we have
Mhm.
nothing else, we're
Yeah.
the top or something,
Yeah.
we're really we're gonna lose sight of the bigger picture. So
Right.
for me, it's is that my goals depend on what I want to do as far as like what I did, previously, what I've done previously, what I'm gonna do in the future, what can I do now
Mhm.
when it comes to like financially,
Mhm.
time wise, stuff like that. So it's just it's a plethora of things, but I know for sure the people around me, or the people I'm around
Mhm.
and talk to and observe and learn from and like to be around, all those that help me a lot.
Mhm.
So
No, I completely
yeah.
get that because I feel like if you're in a silo with just yourself and you think, "Oh, what I'm doing is good or bad or great or whatever it is," and you never notice what anybody else is
Mhm.
doing, at some point, like, either idea generation or motivation, work ethic, sometimes something just stops.
Mhm.
You're like, "I can't go anywhere
Yeah.
else. I'm hit a wall." And soon as you open up yourself to, "What's this person doing? What's that person
Mhm.
doing? What are MJG's camera angles like? What
Mhm.
are Major's camera angles
Mhm.
like? Like, what are like, is MJG dancing right now or is he working out right now?" Like,
Mhm.
opening, like, yourself up to that is like, "Oh, I could go do something else, or I
Mhm.
could do something like this, or I could do something like that." And not having people to bounce ideas off of and get motivation from and get any sort of, idea generation
Mhm.
from, I feel like that would be really tough. I'm
Yeah.
glad that we do have that here in Dallas. I feel
Right,
like
right.
we all met through dance, most of
Mhm.
us, right? But I've noticed a recent shift in the entire scene, and maybe it's just because the
Mhm.
people that I know and I like came into the scene with, everybody's now doing different things
Right, right,
and doing
right.
what they like, their own personal things, and then they come together to dance,
True,
and then they go do their personal things.
true.
Whereas previously it was like everybody just wanted to dance,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
you were one of the first ones, I think, because you went heavy into your video or posting a lot about your
Mm.
videography, your little clips, your
Mhm.
little your
Mhm.
short films, and even your short stories within like the 10-minute Instagram like
Exactly.
span.
Mhm.
I did want to ask you, when did you get started into making these kind of short films?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think I was talking to some family about this recently that, I've always watching movies growing up, always like and it's crazy because I didn't even realize how much I love movies until I got older in college, really. And me and my brother was always me and my brother we went to the same school together and we were roommates in a
Mhm.
dorm. So every time, we were done with schoolwork or anything, we would either go to the gym, go train, or watch movies. That's
Yeah.
all we did. We didn't go socialize, we didn't go out,
Mhm.
party. We session with some guys around the city, but it was mainly school and dance or
Mhm.
anything surrounding what we still
Mhm.
do now.
Yeah.
So we were always watching movies, and then when I had access to cameras and editing suites on
Mhm.
campus, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, let's play around with what I like, which is dancing,
Mhm.
video, and then seeing if I can learn something, how to put something together.
So you got started on campus.
So oh, yeah, well, see, it was funny because I filmed my first video I ever edited and put together was
Mhm.
of my nephew, and I
Mhm.
just used a cheap Chinese camera I ordered.
Mhm.
It came in, and it was like I just shot him a lot, and I put a whole
Mhm.
video together of him, like, throughout the years,
Yeah.
and then I was like, "Oh, that was fun," like, I had fun, and it made me feel emotional because I was
Mhm.
watching my nephew, and it made me, like, sad that he's growing up, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, wow," like, so it's weird to have that feeling with something. You
Mhm.
just start, you feel like you meant to do it.
Mhm.
So, and I just gravitate to on school, I became more like, "Let me go out and actually practice, some
Mhm.
angles, some ideas with dance." and then edit it, and
Mhm.
then either post it or just keep it, and it kept building that way, and then
Okay.
it came to ideas,
Right.
like investing in ideas, which
Yeah.
costs money and stuff and time, but
Mhm.
and it just grew that way
Mhm.
since then. So yeah,
Interesting. So, I mean, you've been doing this since college, is being into, like, videography and stuff like
yeah,
that, and
yeah.
then the most recent like, the biggest one that I know you've made is Sunny so far, but
Sunny, yeah.
then
Still
still
was the last
still
one.
still just
Shorter, it's shorter,
shorter.
but it was, better
Mhm.
idea or techniques-wise,
Mhm.
better execution on things, but it's still yeah,
Yeah.
Sunny was a lot more yeah, that was
Mhm.
a cost a lot more, and
Yeah.
then it was a longer process for
So,
sure.
how are those 2 productions, and where was Sunny the first one you ever sent to a festival?
Yes, that was the first one, and, local and international, festivals
Mhm.
because now it's cool now, you can do that,
Mhm.
you know? It's
Yeah,
like back then,
exactly.
like, you couldn't do stuff like that, even,
Yeah.
like, 10 years ago, you couldn't just send it out to as man it costs money too to do it, but
Gotcha.
you couldn't do that, you had to go somewhere and show them, give them a demo, give them a
Mhm.
tape, let them watch it, and then you might hear back from them or maybe not,
Mhm.
we'll see, but now you can send things like that to people, and
Mhm.
they can judge it, they can critique it, and get back to you, and you can find out, all this
Mhm.
information, or say, "Hey, you weren't submitted, good luck next time."
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, it's pretty odd.
Interesting.
It's pretty odd, that whole process to do
Okay.
that, yeah.
Um, Before I get ahead of myself, for anybody who doesn't know, MJG makes short films. The past 2 that he's made, Sunny and Still, he submitted to film festivals. Is there a portfolio that people can find you
Ah,
online?
it's just the website,
Website?
mjgfilms.com. That's just where I have
mjgfilms.com, there you go.
I guess all the work that I I'd rather, be seen, I
Mhm.
guess. Is that you have, of course, the backlog of stuff,
Sure,
and then you have the stuff you want
sure.
people to see, like,
I'm,
okay.
like I'm noticing that now, is, like, when
Yeah.
I'll either try and take, multiple clips and put them in together for something, whether so most recently I was at the gym
Mhm.
and I wanted to make like a little video that was like if you want to combine your fitness goals with your reading
Mm,
goals, or it
mm.
was like
Wow.
the caption was get fit while reading, level
Whoa,
beginner, and it was like walk while you're reading your Kindle on the treadmill.
nice.
You can read while you're stretching. You
Yeah,
can read while you're doing a plank. You can read while you're in the sauna. So it's like level 1 in a
whoa.
gym is like that, right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't
Let's
really
try it.
happy with, like, the clips that I took and
Okay.
the angles I got and the way it was shot, and I was like, "I feel like I have a better idea of the quality I wanna put out
Mhm.
now." So, recently, it's been a lot of, "I
Mhm.
actually don't like this, and I don't wanna put it out,"
Mhm.
versus initially when I was getting into it in 2022, it was just like, "Forget how it looks,
It's
put it out,"
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
you wanna get used to the
Right.
feeling of just, like, making and posting and making and posting and making and putting it out until you figure out here's my
Mhm.
quality.
Mhm.
Here's what I like it to look like. Here's what I
True.
like it to do. So that was very interesting for me too.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
most recently like
That's a
you
dope
know,
idea, bro. I can't wait to see
but
that. That's really
I
tight.
really want it to go well. It's just awkward in the gym because the gym is also small. So
Mhm.
I can't like I'm not someone who's gonna grab a tripod,
Right,
put it over there, and
exactly.
then go do something. I'm just not someone who's gonna
Yeah,
do that, right?
yeah,
So honestly, it would be shot at in my house,
yeah.
which is still fine.
It's still
Most of
good,
the
yeah.
stuff, it's just um,
Wow.
some things I would have to go to the gym and clip, some things come home and clip, and then put it together well.
Mhm.
But I just an idea that I was bouncing off with, like, Trent because he knows I'm into body weight stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so stuff. He's
yeah.
like, "You could combine that with your reading." I was like, "I want to." I couldn't do any the last year because of my wrist. So now that I'm
Yeah, sounds
back,
good.
and now that I'm working out, or I literally hit the gym yesterday for the first time
Mhm.
since October.
Wow. Wow,
So
wow.
2 months off was really rough, but we're back in.
Yeah, yeah. And then you
Um
got that idea already kind of brewing. Like,
Immediately, I was in
that's
the gym, and
crazy.
nobody was there because it was, like, during the workday,
Mhm.
so all of everybody would have come after
True.
the workday or, like, early in the morning. So, in the middle is, like,
Wow.
when almost no one's there. But then people walked in as soon as I started, like, having the idea
Oh,
to start recording, I was like, "Where did y'all come
yeah, yeah,
from?
it's always like that.
Stay
I
home."
hate when that happens when you film
Um,
something like that.
uh,
That's
so
dope, though.
so this year, what are you kinda working on?
Oh,
Is there
man.
something you're working
Yeah.
on? Do
Oh,
you have, like,
yeah.
ideas in the box?
Yeah, I think but it's kinda odd, though, because it's, so holidays, birthdays, New Year's, everything is it's just another day for me.
Mhm.
'Cause, like, on Christmas, I still went and trained.
Yeah.
My birthday, I didn't do nothing, I filmed.
Mhm.
Like, so it's hard for me to think about these kind of holidays or New Year's
Mhm.
as a different something different.
Yeah.
It's always just another day to kind of like
Mhm.
but there's always goals,
Yeah.
like and I don't know if, when they happen or when they can happen, but they're still there, and I try to get them done as much as quick as I can or as efficient as I can. Like, with the
Mhm.
next film I'm working on, it's a whole different feel now, so the process is gonna be
Yeah.
different. I don't know when it's gonna be done, but I know I'm gonna do it a certain in the first quarter, I think within the
Mhm.
first quarter of the year. So, but again, I know that's gonna happen, but, everything else is just like another day, take it day by day. Like
Mhm.
yesterday or 2 days ago was the first time I filmed in a while because doing it for work and
Yeah.
then keeping on I've been just training and dancing more than anything the last few months and then work, right?
Mhm.
So, and now it's like, okay, like kind of like balancing it out. Like I'm where I'm at with my dance. Okay, let me just take a break from that for a little bit and take, do some more
Mm.
touch base on more on my
Okay.
filming and get that up somewhere and
Yeah.
then get, it's like a
Okay.
balancing thing with that.
I think that's a really good way to put it because a lot of people try and do everything all at once,
Yeah, it's tough.
and
Yeah,
at
yeah.
at some point, you do just say, "I just can't," and then do this at this point, do this here, do that there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's a great way to look at it.
It's
I think
good.
it is. So
It's like when people do like multiple styles, like if you do 3, 4
yes,
styles at the same time.
and they're like, "Oh, I wanna train this style on Monday, this
Yeah,
style on Tuesday, this style on
yeah.
Wednesday," and I'm like, you
Um,
think when you train, you're like this, but every training session is just a little bit of
exactly,
EXP, right?
exactly.
But
You're
so you're
feeling
training, like, 4 styles, it's
it's gonna
it's you're
yeah.
barely
Yeah,
climbing versus
yeah.
one style you could just go straight
Exactly,
up in a month.
exactly.
I was talking with a buddy of mine who wanted to do that, and I was like, "You
Yeah.
like, you're capable of it,
Yeah, yeah,
but it would just be much better if you focused on one thing at a time."
exactly.
But it's hard for us to do that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
definitely.
at even at this age, I still assume that I can do everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And,
it's normal.
like, last summer when I started the podcast, great summer because
Mhm.
I'd actually stopped making book content. I was like,
Oh.
I'm gonna pause posting on bookish stuff. I'm gonna slow it down. I'm gonna work on content or podcast. I'm gonna work on Fableware.
Yeah.
And so it was so nice because the only thing I had to do every week was record this, edit this, post this, grab clips, post that,
Mhm,
and then just work on Fableware.
mhm.
Right now, I'm trying to do it all. So I have
Yeah,
the book long
yeah.
form, book short form,
Right.
podcast long form, podcast short form, also Fableware, trying
Yeah,
to do all that
and
in
then the
the evening,
training.
and then trying to go walk or go work
Right.
out or take care of the house or even cook. And it's like,
It's a lot.
and actually read,
Exactly, read, yeah, yeah.
can't do everything, cannot do
That's a
everything.
lot.
And so,
But one thing I do wanna say, it's dope to have that many, passions and that many, ways to just be creative, like, that's
mhm,
awesome, bro,
I
like
do sometimes overlook that.
yeah,
I
it's
definitely overlook
good.
the fact that I enjoy so many things,
Mhm.
because sometimes I feel like I don't enjoy enough things or I don't enjoy the
Mm,
right things
mm.
because, I don't go out and party. I
Exactly.
don't really go out and socially drink. I don't like going to bars or
Mhm,
clubs. I
mhm,
don't really like going to amusement parks. I don't really like there's a lot of social things that I don't like doing,
mhm.
but then if I pull back, there's a lot of things in the creating space that I love doing. I
Yeah.
think it always boils down to when I'm in the creating space, I love almost doing anything.
Mhm,
But
mhm,
then when I have to go into a different space, it's like,
mhm.
what do I actually like and don't like?
True.
I just got a new bookshelf
Mm.
because this one's getting full, as you can
Okay.
see.
Oh, so that's what the okay.
And it just came in today.
Wow, nice.
So I'm putting it together, and I was telling Ayushi like,
Wow.
um, I really enjoy the process of building things.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
very therapeutic in a
Yeah.
sense, right? Like just putting something together. You have the instructions. You
Mhm.
just do it. You feel great as a man after you do it
Yeah,
sometimes.
put it together. Of course. Definitely,
But
definitely.
it just feels good to create or build
Mhm.
something. And
Get your hands and move yeah, move
um
your hands.
exactly, just like using tools and
Right,
putting
right.
and you see it come together.
Mhm.
It makes me very like kind of calms me down
Right, right,
after
right,
everything
right.
else hypes me up.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, anything like that, bro, like it's especially right here, all this,
Mhm.
everything you have here is so there's a lot of work you put in when it
Yeah.
comes to, time in something. Like that
Mhm.
shows passion, that shows love, that shows work ethic. So, and I was talking to Amy about this when she has some friends and people we know that, you know, they kinda don't have that yet, and
Mhm.
they're, in their mid-30s, they're getting up there, they're kind of in age, and it's tough to see people who have kind of struggle with
Mhm.
trying to find one thing just to be passionate about,
I
you
agree.
know?
Yeah.
It's awesome you passionate about this, passionate about this, passionate about, you know, like
Yeah.
that's rare to come by in
Mhm.
people because many have one and
Mhm.
many don't even have that yet. Don't
Yeah.
even have one yet. You have
Yeah.
many.
Mhm.
So that's it's big props for you, bro, to kind of just to be sticking with it and growing in with it because it's not easy like we're talking about
It's
like
not easy to try and do everything that you wanna
yeah,
do,
yeah,
because my whole
yeah.
philosophy in life is I just wanna do what I wanna do.
Right,
Like
right,
like,
right.
if I wanna do something in a day, I should be able to do that and not feel bad about it, right? So if I do wanna create during the whole day, I should be able to create the whole day, but if I don't wanna
Mhm.
create that day, I don't have to create that day.
Right, right, right,
Things
right.
like that, and to your point,
That's
I
a
actually
good one.
really thought about the exact thing you've been talking about, how
Mm. Mm.
people and because now we're adults, we're in the workspace, this happened after I graduated, right? When you go to
Mm.
work and you see people just go to work and then go
Yeah.
home. They just, like and then they, like, wait for the weekend to come,
Mhm.
and I actually saw this during my internship,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
when the associate I was talking to said, "Yeah, I can't wait for the weekend," in my brain, I was like,
Mm.
"But what how do you use your evenings? Like,
Exactly.
what do you do in your
What do you do
evenings?
when you
What are you
know?
doing what do you do during work? What do you
Yeah,
do in your
yeah.
mornings?"
Right.
And I was like, I hated that feeling that I hated the potential of that feeling of, "Oh,
Right.
am I if I'm doing this job, am I just gonna be living for the weekend?" Or any job that I do, am I living for the weekend,
Mhm.
or am I gonna enjoy myself every single day?
Mhm.
And I think that's where it came about, where I was like, "No, I'm gonna
Man.
find a way to enjoy my day every
Right.
single day."
Right.
Now,
Right.
sometimes that doesn't happen, but
Exactly.
most days, I've done something that I wanted to do that's fun,
Mhm.
something that I know I needed to do just to
Mhm.
keep myself accountable for, like, work that I need to do around
Exactly.
life, and,
Mhm.
um, thought about something else that I wanna do the next day or things like that, and,
Wow.
um, it seems like
That's
in
good.
doing that, now I'm here and doing this,
Mhm.
and I enjoy that a lot, and sometimes,
Mm.
I think about taking, like, social media detoxes and things like that,
Yeah.
but then I'm like, "Well, if I don't go onto Instagram or Twitter for X amount of time, then I'm not gonna see Canvas's clips that he
Ah,
posted. I'm
right,
not gonna see
right, right,
MGJ's
right.
videos. I'm
So
not gonna
true.
see Trent's videos." And it's like, I go on there to see my friends and
Mhm,
see what
mhm.
dope shit they're doing. I
Same.
don't go on there to, like, doom scroll.
Right, right,
So,
right,
like,
right, right.
look at the stories, look at a couple of posts, done, next,
Mhm.
and,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
I feel like after this 2023 year, like, there's a very small
Mm.
tribe of all of us that, like, if I need if I need help with something, I can go to you. If I need help
Yeah,
with
yeah,
something, I
yeah.
can go to Major or Trent or
Right,
Canvas
right,
or
right, right.
Andy and all that stuff.
Definitely.
Um,
It's good.
but
You been and then, like, since the last quarter of the year, seeing all your book reviews and the ideas with books that you've been
mhm,
doing too, that's one thing I've always loved seeing because I love seeing passionate people, you know?
mhm,
And honestly, bro, it's the truth. It may hurt people's feelings, but I know a lot of people dance, but you can feel that it's not passionate for them. It's kind
yeah,
of hard to see that
yeah,
because I know a lot of people do things because it's comfortable to them or
mhm,
they've been around it so much, so they're doing it. But you can tell like it's not what they like passionate like what they
mhm,
obsessed over it. They can't
mhm,
sleep without thinking about something in it, or it's when
mhm,
it's that heavy, you can feel it with people. And I was
mhm.
telling Amos like, hey, I can feel the Irish man with the
Appreciate it.
he's a like he knows his books. He
Mhm,
knows what he's talking about when he's discussing this and
mhm,
when he's discussing anything regarding the videos you've been posting. Like you can feel that passion, and
yeah,
that's what I love seeing too.
mhm,
And I rarely see that.
mhm,
It's a lot of kind of like people on cruise control, it seems,
yeah.
nowadays, and I wish
It's so
everyone
interesting. A
had
lot of people are on cruise control. They're
yeah.
just, like, on autopilot because,
Mhm.
like, work, go home, eat, sleep, work, go home, eat, sleep, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, it is, it is.
And it's so
It's
interesting that
good
you say
stuff.
that now because and, like, the last quarter,
Mhm,
because, I started making book content in 2022,
mhm.
and at first, I didn't know like, I was talking about books, but, like, I didn't know what I was saying.
Mm,
I didn't really have a voice,
okay.
right? I didn't know, like, what about this book do I like? Do I wanna share? Do I not like that I wanna share? And it's really interesting that you say that because I think the same way you learn something over time and then you learn how to talk about it to other
Mhm.
people is the same way like, relearned how to read books
Oh,
almost,
wow.
because now I, like, focus on things when I read books. Sometimes
Mm.
I read a book very analytically, I'm taking down notes.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes I take down no notes, and I'm just
Right,
slumped, just reading the
right.
book the entire time, and then I drop my thoughts down at the end of, like, a
Wow.
reading session. Um, but I've picked up on what I like, what I don't like, what I like to talk about, what I don't care to talk about, and
Mhm.
that would only happen because I started doing this,
Mhm.
and I only got to this point in 2021, 2022. I didn't read that many books. This past year, I read 55 books, or at
Wow.
least attempted to read 55. I think I finished like 48 of them.
Wow, that's a lot though.
That's still a lot, yeah. So my goal is 75 this year.
75!
I don't think I'm gonna get there, but we'll see.
Is that okay, just quickly, is that all kinds of books, or is that just one book, one genre of book that
All
you want to
kinds.
all kinds? Okay,
So
okay.
it's in between like starting and finishing manga or
Mm.
webtoons, starting and finishing like nonfiction novels
Ah, okay,
or
okay.
fantasy novels.
Okay.
Mostly fantasy novels though,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
because I don't read audio.
It's
I don't
good.
listen to audiobooks.
Oh.
If I did, that number would be at
Oh, yeah, yeah,
125.
yeah. It's gonna
Easy.
be, yeah.
Every day I go to work, 45 minutes,
Yep.
have a book on. It's just I use that for podcasts instead.
Okay,
So
okay,
I
okay.
try not to use I don't use audiobooks in general.
Okay.
So it's only physical copies and ebooks. And so I've
Okay.
just been going through that
Wow.
and or scrolling on the internet and reading a book on like
Yeah,
my
yeah,
TV
yeah.
on the
Yeah.
computer. But
That's good.
so
Wow.
you just said something
Mm.
that I wanted to ask your opinion on.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
I was having this thought came to me earlier this week about comfortability and uncomfortability, right?
mhm,
A lot of people say you need uncomfortability in order to grow,
mhm,
right? Because growth comes from friction
mhm.
and other like obstacles, and obstacles usually make you uncomfortable, and then you have to
Right.
overcome them, therefore you've grown.
Right, right, right.
Um, but a lot of people are in the mindset that's been like pushed around over the past few years, or
Right.
like hustle mindset. So always got
Exactly.
to be uncomfortable. You always got to be growing.
Right, right.
Versus, I'm of the mindset of, and I know now that like if I don't get a chance to chill every single day, like
Mhm.
I've had an awful day,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So I like the idea of combining the 2,
Oh,
being
yeah.
able to be comfortable during the day and uncomfortable enough to actually grow.
Mhm,
I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Like
mhm.
where do you lie on the comfortability, uncomfortability scale? Do you like to put yourself in more uncomfortable situations, or do you find yourself just kind of comfortably growing at your own
Mhm.
pace?
Yeah, there is the balance, like you said.
Yeah.
I feel and I can give a good example of that. There is this, so rehabbing my knee the last few years,
Mhm.
I was always like looking at methods, different things, and what I can do.
Mhm.
And it took a few exercises that I was learning.
Yeah.
That when I was learning, I was told, don't go to where you're uncomfortable in that
Mhm.
exercise. When you start
Mhm.
feeling that achiness or that tweak, okay, like stop right there. Don't go past that because that's not gonna help you.
Okay.
So go to where that they would say go to where it's comfortable.
Mhm.
Okay, where it's comfortable, and then just and slowly, do that until you don't feel that uncomfortableness no more.
Mhm.
So when I heard that, when I went through that, I noticed a big difference in my abilities of my
Mhm.
legs, my knee, that it just felt so much better.
Mhm.
Less there was no kind of dislocation of my
Yeah.
knee anymore. So these exercises worked, and because I didn't push that limit to where I was feeling pain and thinking that was a good thing,
Mhm.
it was I went to that balance,
Yeah.
and that's what healed everything, or that's what helped heal it, and
Mhm.
and that's what got me to a better place physically when I started realizing the balance.
Yeah.
Instead of going 100% in the gym, you go 80 every day.
Yeah.
I'm going or 70 or 60. So I'm not dying after a workout. I'm
Right.
good for the next day. I can do the
Right.
same thing or so. And I grew up in the opposite, of course. You always
Mhm.
gotta push hard. You always
Yeah.
gotta plus being smaller in sports, I was always told that you gotta fight. Like you gotta be a
Mhm.
dog and you gotta go against the bigger guys. You gotta
Mhm.
be more aggressive than they are, but I had to slowly learn as I got older the balance
Mhm.
now of being comfortable and uncomfortable to a certain point to where you're
Yeah.
not like weighing you're not kind of deteriorating your mind or your body. You're just slowly growing in a
Yeah.
good pace that's good for you, comfortable for
Mhm.
you.
True.
So it does take balance. It's a balance thing for
Mhm.
sure.
So, a couple of years ago
Yeah.
when I was getting into the podcast space, I listened to a podcast with Joe Rogan, and
Mm.
he had an MMA coach on using fruits from Canada, and that coach said something that really intrigued me, and I
Wow.
think you might like to hear
Hmm.
this. So, he was giving an example of how he would coach somebody, because
Okay.
it was the same conversation they were having as I just asked you, the
Yeah.
comfortability versus the uncomfortability thing. And he said, "If I'm gonna teach somebody how to do 10 pull-ups, I'm not going to have them do 10 pull-ups the first day and then only get to 6,
Mhm.
and then try and do the 10 the next day and the 10 the next workout, the 10 the next workout.
Mhm.
I'm gonna start them off with 5,
Mhm.
and the first how many workouts are gonna keep doing 5. Then I'm gonna bump it up to 6 or 7
Mhm.
or 8, and then I'm gonna gradually get them up to 10,
Right, right.
right? I'm not gonna make their goal, if they wanna hit 10 pull-ups, being 10 pull-ups in the first
Exactly, the
workout.
first one,
It's gonna
yeah.
be 5, and they feel good, and they come back the next day, they had a win. The next time they work out, they wanna need to do pull-ups again, going
Mhm.
for 5 again, going for 5 again.
Mhm.
Now you're going for 6, now you're going for 8, things like that. So
Definitely,
that's very interesting to me.
definitely.
Now, mentally, when I'm at the gym,
Right.
I try to limit myself, and then I'm like, "But I don't feel it.
Exactly.
Go
Exactly,
harder," and
exactly.
then end up just going hard. But I really am
Yeah.
interested in finding, like, some like a program for myself in terms
Mhm.
of, this is gonna take you very slowly over 3 months, but you're gonna get to exactly where you wanna be at the end of
Right.
that 3 months. You just gotta wait and work out the 3 months,
Mhm.
right? Don't worry about where you are at 1.5 months. Don't worry about where you're at 2 months. At the end of 3 months, you will be where you wanna be
Right.
if you take it nice and slow.
Mhm.
But if you try and hit, like, I'm trying to get my muscle up back
Yeah. Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
I
yeah.
lost all those
Yeah.
calisthenic techniques while I was sick for
It'll
3
come back,
weeks.
yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, one of the goals this year is getting all this technique back."
Okay.
I don't think I'm gonna get it back by the end of January.
Okay.
I'm not gonna focus on
Mhm.
that. I'm just gonna focus on pull-ups and things like that and slowly build that up,
Exactly.
and then I'm gonna build it up in February, like, push-ups and other,
Mhm.
and long bar dips, and then we'll hit the muscle up eventually
Exactly.
in month 3. So, I really
Oh,
like
yeah.
that,
It's
idea
good.
of going just to the point of slightly uncomfortable, but you know you can handle it,
Right, right, right,
versus, like,
right.
I gotta be uncomfortable. I gotta get in that ice bath
Yeah,
every single day.
yeah,
I gotta
yeah.
get in that, like, cold shower every single day kinda thing. No. They're good for you. Just
Yeah,
letting you, I
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
really looked at the
Oh,
audience yet. Cold showers, ice baths are great for you. They enhance your brown fat. Brown fat's great for thermal
okay.
regulation and also, other things that I am scientifically unaware of. But cold therapy is good for you. I'm just using that as an example.
Definitely good.
Next thing I wanna
Yeah,
talk to you about.
definitely.
So, every season starting, not every season, I only did this for season 1.
Nice,
I read
nice.
a book. It
Mhm.
was a nonfiction book. I annotated it. It was called Hidden Genius, and then I talked
Ooh.
to the audience members about
Mhm.
it every week, that I like something that I read that I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
I
Nice.
just got this in this week.
Okay.
This is Ali Abdal's first debut novel.
Feel
It's
good.
called Feel Good Productivity. So it's basically supposed to take away the whole idea of, "Oh, I need to be productive. How can I be more productive? I'm so sad. I'm so
Ah.
upset." And he was like, "You, in order to be more productive and work efficiently and all that, it comes from feeling good, feeling positive emotions, feeling
Mm.
better. Good feelings enhance good work,
Ah,
good
productivity.
energy, all that
Right, right.
stuff, right?
Definitely, definitely.
You
It's
don't
true.
you're not gonna be productive and then feel good. You're gonna
Right,
feel good, then
right.
you're gonna be pretty productive."
Right, exactly.
So I read just the introduction of this,
Mm.
um, 2 nights ago.
Okay.
Already have, like, 7
Yeah,
flags
you got
on it.
some already?
So, there was a there was a study in here that I want to kind of pose a
Let's
question to
check it.
you, okay? So, it's called the candle problem. So, picture yourself with 3 objects before you: a candle, a book a book of matches,
Mm.
and a box of thumbtacks.
Mm.
So your task is to stick the candle to a cork board so that when it's lit, the candle wax won't drip into the table.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So imagine you have a table, you have a cork board
Mhm,
vertical, and then
mhm.
you have these 3 sets of items.
Okay.
Um,
Wow.
and you have to stick the candle to the cork board so that when you light it, there's no
There's
wax
no
dripping
wax.
onto the table. So
Interesting.
my question is, how do you think you
Interesting.
would go about doing that?
Oh, wow. Let me think. Oh, let's see. Vertical. The
Mhm.
cork board is vertical.
Mhm. You have a candle, you have a book of matches,
Oh,
you have a
wow.
box of thumbtacks,
Lots of thumbtacks. I mean, I think the only oh, that's a good puzzle. I'm trying to think
right?
how we can do it. I know there's a as easier method that I'm thinking of. It has to
That
be
it's always easier than you think. It's
exactly.
always easier than you think.
That's why I'm like,
But it's always like, "Oh, I didn't even consider this
exactly.
variable."
I'm thinking it like as a builder, like how would I make shift something? And
Mhm.
I'm not thinking simple, so that's why it's pretty tough. Like even
Mhm.
thinking, how would I do this?
'Cause you only have, like, simple ingredients.
Exactly, exactly. Oof, I don't even know. To make it not spill. Yeesh, that's tough. I would like to know, actually.
So
I would like
you
to
have
know
the
how.
candle and you have the matches. So
Uh-huh.
you're gonna use matches to light the candle.
Right.
Now you have a box of thumbtacks.
Oh, but yeah, motion thumbtacks.
Did you consider using the thumbtacks, right?
Right,
Did you
right.
consider using the box?
No, not the box though.
So what if you had the box,
Okay.
you put the candle in the box,
Uh-huh.
and then you thumbtack the box to the cord.
Oh, yeah,
So if
yeah,
it's
yeah.
dripping, it's dripping onto the box,
Right.
but it's not getting onto the table
It's
underneath.
not getting underneath.
So the
Interesting.
result looks like this.
Oh, so it's just
It's
okay,
just
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And so that's very interesting,
Inside,
right?
inside the box.
And so it's thinking outside the box to use the
To
box
use the box.
along with the thumbtack. Because people think, oh,
I like
my
that.
ingredients are these like just the thumbtacks, but you
Okay.
also have the box there. You also have
Right,
this, and you also
right.
have this to work with.
That's cool.
Very interesting.
That's cool. I
And then
like
they
that.
did this. They did a second round of this,
Mm.
where and this is where like the feel good part comes in,
Ah,
where they gave some people like a drink that was like a margarita or whatever
mhm.
before they went in and did this, and they gave some people nothing. So people who
Oh.
drank probably felt better, probably felt a little bit happier, a little bit more
Right,
positive.
right, right.
They were more creative with the ways they were doing the work, and more of them got to the answer than the people who didn't have
Interesting.
anything. So feeling good then enhances your creativity,
Mhm.
enhances your productivity,
Yep,
can help
yep.
you think better as well if you're in a more positive emotional state.
Wow, that's true.
And this part, what was it? This part right here was
Oh,
was
man.
the most informational part for me. So
Interesting.
there's four hormones to
Yeah,
positive emotions.
okay.
There's endorphins, serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin. And we've heard of these generally throughout life. Like
Right,
endorphins
right.
come from working
Definitely.
out, make you feel good. Um, Serotonin is connected to mood regulation, sleep, appetite, all that kind of stuff. Dopamine we know is like the reward,
Mhm.
like you feel really good
After
after you do something. And then oxytocin is known for this love hormone
mm.
associated with social bonding, trust, and relationship building. What I didn't know was dopamine, has a result, provides a satisfaction that allows us to focus for longer. So dopamine has a focus
Hmm.
enhancing effect,
Okay.
which is really interesting to me.
It is. Dopamine.
You've heard of post nut clarity,
Yeah, exactly.
and dopamine is released when you do things like that,
Right,
right?
right. Just like
So a
a
lot of people say I
yeah.
can't focus until I
Right.
went out or
Exactly,
whatever.
exactly.
And so it was so interesting. I don't know why
That
I don't
is.
know why I'm talking partly about this. This is
This
a
is an
natural male
adult.
thing.
Exactly.
Um, so it's
Mhm.
very interesting when I read that and just
Wow.
connected the dots. Like, is that why many men feel like they have to wake up and that's the first thing they do in order to
Right.
go focus on a task or focus on the
Right.
rest of their day?
Right, right.
Now that might be
Very
a very aggressive
it's a
example.
good
It's
good
just the first one that my brain went to, and you can, you know, have that as you
that's
will.
a good
But I
perspective
just thought it
right
was very
there. It
interesting.
is.
I thought it was a very interesting way to think about it, and just knowing more about
Mhm.
how these hormones affect your body, you can kind of manipulate them
Yeah,
as
yeah.
you want, right?
Yeah.
You can figure out, okay, if endorphins help me feel good, and they have, I don't know,
Wow.
uh, they have feelings of happiness and diminished discomfort.
Mhm.
That's probably why I'm usually smiling after a good workout,
Mm.
right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you
yeah.
you sweat all that out, you're like, I
Right.
feel really good,
Exactly.
things like that. And so if you
Exactly.
want to keep feeling good, go back to the workout. So people
Mhm.
get a high from like running, or
Mhm.
people get a high from climbing, or
Mhm.
things like that. It's very interesting.
Physical
And this is just the
activity.
introduction to this
Wow.
book.
I know I can see like you just
And he just released it this last week, so
wow.
I just got it.
You already
Um,
got a lot of
and
notes in it and
I'm using it.
everything.
I think I do enjoy annotating.
Mhm.
I don't like annotating fantasy novels because I
Okay.
don't care about like this was alliteration, this was
Mm.
foreshadowing, this was a simile, there's like
Right.
all those
Right.
things that like our English teachers made us do. I hate that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
But noting down like things like this that are interesting, like oh, this insight that
Mhm.
that the author had was really interesting, or this experience that they shared, or a story they
Yeah.
shared was very interesting that you could learn from, or a specific quote I want to pull out of
Mhm.
this.
Mhm.
You can grab that. So I enjoy
Yeah.
annotating like nonfiction novels like this
Oh,
as
no, yeah.
opposed to fantasy ones.
I feel like you're gonna have a lot of a lot of annotations on them
I'm
because
gonna. I mean,
it's gonna be constant, like, insights and
Hidden
good
Genius was the first one I did, and I have a
right.
lot on
Yeah.
these. And I
Yeah.
actually ran out of one of the colors for the flags on this because I just annotated so much.
Yeah, look at that.
This
Look
one I would highly recommend to you
Hidden
because
Genius, that looks yeah, it looks
it's
good.
it's basically this author is also a journalist, or a
Mm.
um I guess a journalist,
Mm.
and she's done over 1,000 stories on like like,
Oh,
interesting people
wow.
around the world,
Yeah,
successful,
yeah,
really
that's
interesting
cool.
people, and so she just pulled out lessons from all those dossiers that she's written, like, long form
Wow.
articles
Right,
she's
right,
written
right.
over people and put them all into a book saying,
Okay.
like,
So it's
here that like,
different.
it's almost every chapter is, like, a new set of
Yeah.
individuals she's talking
Oh,
about.
that's
She almost
awesome.
doesn't never repeats, it's, like,
Oh, wow.
whoever she's talking about. So there's, like, 9 or 10 chapters in there.
Oh, wow.
So it's you get to learn from about 30 to 40 to like people and their experiences and things like that. And so I'm not a biography reader.
Mhm.
I'm not like a nonfiction reader like that. But
Yeah.
that
It's
was
different.
dope.
Yeah,
It was
yeah, yeah,
different. It
yeah.
was different.
It sounds different,
Yeah.
like, getting that much perspectives on
Hmm.
yeah, it sounds
Hmm.
sounds especially something like that too,
Also something like this. Yeah,
yeah, you get
exactly.
very much
It's like a
it's
different take on the topic
yeah.
because I don't want to read a book about how to enhance productivity. Well, you could time block, or you
Yeah,
could do like the
exactly.
Tabata method, or you could do all this stuff. And I'm like, that I don't care.
Right, right.
Right? Give me something different. Give me
Right.
some like actual
Mhm,
insights.
mhm. That's
Um,
really good, wow.
Now we're on the topic of books, and I don't want to stop talking to MJG. It's only been 40
Okay,
minutes,
we
and you
good.
know we go for hours on this podcast. Uh, what kind of books do you like to read?
Oh, for me, honestly, bro, it's the same. Those kind of books. I've read books about money, books
Hmm.
about finances, books about um man, marriage,
Hmm.
books about fatherhood, like a lot of things that I feel like I needed to learn
Gotcha.
about, you know? I
Gotcha.
still like reading books,
Hmm.
but mainly since I graduated, I always liked reading. Me and my
Hmm.
brother used to make comic books growing up,
That's
and then we
cool.
graduated to making this little short story
Yeah.
books. So I've always enjoyed reading, and of course, the Bible. The Bible was my first biggest read from
Hmm.
front to back. Of course,
Hmm.
learning because when my dad wasn't around, my mom gave me a book and said,
Hmm.
"Read it because this is what your real dad is like." So I was
Hmm.
like, "Okay, what does she mean? I don't know what that meant." And you go through the book from the
Hmm.
beginning to end, and you read about how much of a redemption story it is, and how
Hmm.
much about it is about love and forgiveness and mercy and redemption and
Hmm.
all these things, And I'm still going back to it, just learning a lot of because it's one of those books for me at least.
Yeah.
I go back and I'm learning something new about
Hmm.
myself and about the kind of person I want to be or I need to be
Hmm.
and then that trickle into reading about all kind of things,
100%.
finances, books,
100%.
family, marriage for sure.
Hmm. So
And
you read to learn.
yeah, read to learn and then that trickled to film, reading a lot
Hmm.
of books about film and
Hmm.
photography and filmography and cinematography and
Hmm.
reading about, the body, of
Yeah.
course. I have a few books about just different methods and techniques that are
Hmm.
dated back since like the Roman times and what they used to
Interesting.
do. And so stuff like that is always like, you know, something for me. I'm like, I wanna there's stuff out there so much I don't know about.
Hmm.
So reading is like I'm sure you know this. This opens your mind up to
It
so
really
much
does.
there.
Hmm.
What we're not really getting on the news or getting on YouTube or anything else.
Hmm.
Books is you find a lot of
Found a lot of
great
hidden
things
gems
in
in books.
yeah, yeah.
Um, does
So
Moses also like to read?
he does, it's funny because my, my mom gave him a Roblox book, and it's
Mhm,
not really like picture book, it's just like a book about stories,
mhm,
adventures, and I'm reading to that before bedtime, like a bedtime book. We'll go to a few chapters, he just, like, listen and just, like, this happy face, and so he enjoys reading
nice.
a lot because I think it's just his imagination starts to kick
Mhm.
in, now
That's good, so when
yeah.
he's of age, I know I can gift him a book.
Yeah,
There we
yeah, yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah, oh,
There we
yeah,
go.
he's in it, bro.
Amazing,
He's in the books, definitely.
amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
I have another
Mhm.
exercise that I'm wanting to go
Mhm.
through with you. I've been running through this with friends, and I'm gonna
Okay,
be doing it the entire year.
nice,
This
let's
is
do
one of
it.
my favorite exercises. It's called the ideal day exercise.
A deal. Okay.
So, the exercise is think about either everything you're doing right now,
Mhm,
most likely, right? All your experiences up to this point.
mhm.
In the future, if you could plan your ideal day, you don't have to work for money,
Okay.
so money's not an
Gotcha,
issue.
gotcha.
You have full control of your schedule. How would you spend your ideal day?
Oh, man. Lately, I think I've realized how much I love being outside. So, if anything, I'll just be outside. I think I'll be somewhere like in the woods, in the mountains,
Mhm,
somewhere where I can see and feel nature in the air and,
mhm.
and, and the birds and the animals and just be and roll around, maybe climb things, like
Yeah,
be like a real like how I feel like humans should live, just
mhm,
be out there
yeah.
out in the woods, out somewhere in nature, maybe in the ocean,
Mhm.
which is Amy is she's like terrified of the ocean.
Okay.
Because when I told her one time, I'm like, hey, I don't if it was my time to pass, like they told me you were gonna die this day or you may die like in the next month, like I'll just be out in the ocean, just
Yeah.
floating in a boat, like I'm fine,
I'm
like
fine. Like, wait,
like
it's coming right now. I'm
yeah,
done. I'm
like
peaceful.
I
Yeah.
love the ocean, so I like stuff like that. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know where it comes from growing up, but
Mhm.
I love being out like in the middle of nowhere, you know.
Interesting.
Or
Very
if
interesting.
I'm with my family, like if I had Moses and Amy, like we'll be out some adventure
Mhm.
somewhere, camping outside. I think
Mhm.
so. All day outside, I feel like would
Yeah.
be like the best.
Yeah.
Just no
Amazing.
internet, no phone, no anything, just
Yeah.
outside. So
You're the second person who's told me they would just like to live in nature.
mm.
So it's very
Yeah,
interesting.
it's tough. It's tough because I mean, it's either that or space, but I can't go to. I'd
Yeah.
love to be out there. That's another dream. Like, oh, let's be out and just experience space, but for sure, nature,
Yeah.
just nature, bro.
100%. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah, bro. It's good.
Well, that's all the time we have for
Hmm.
today. I just want to thank you all for listening. If you listen up to this point, if you're new here, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you're not new here, leave a like and a comment, and then tell other people why they should subscribe to the channel. The end goal is really just to share with you guys stories and experiences from my life and the life of my friends and other people I bring on here to hopefully help you find some sort of end goal or end purpose that you might think it is for your life, and then help you kind of direct your energies and your actions and your behaviors towards that end goal. I have not found mine, but I have found inklings of what I think it is.
Mm.
Do you feel like you have an end goal?
Ooh, I'm not sure either. It's always
It's
like
always changing, right?
right.
It's always changing. So
It's been
it's a
tough.
very amorphous type of
It is.
concept.
It is.
But
It's good.
if we have an idea of it, it's sometimes harder. It's easier to kind of go towards it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um, but I'll catch you guys next time for the next
Hmm.
podcast. I may or may not have a guest on it. You never know. It's like Pandora's box.
Gotta
Like
check
he
that out.
said, go check out Fableware on Etsy. It's always there. New designs are dropping here soon, and
Definitely.
you're gonna want to be cozy in
Exactly,
2024.
it's
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 cold
cold right
outside.
now.
Get a
You
sweater.
gotta
All
get
right,
one.
summer's coming up. Get a short sleeve. It's
Hey,
it's great for everything. Everybody I've talked to has loved it. So pick one up for yourself.
definitely.
That being said, peace.
Peace.